Hello, hello. Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, here we go. We gained a few more silver chests. And we're going in on Dark Knight for this floor set, just because, some gameplay variants, I guess. Just to show you, the Dark Knight file will be just fine. Also, the stonework seems more appropriate to like a fantasy-based class rather than a sci-fi-based class, so yeah, you know, whatever. Although there's going to be plenty of sci-fi elements to keep us company up here. We still don't have as good as weapon and aether pool as armor as I'd like, but you know, it's a work in progress, right? Like that's just the price we pay for coming in here alone and me not doing a bunch of grind runs for it. As you can see, the music and everything else is still the same, but we got these interesting, like, you know, this interesting stonework is interesting. You know, ruins, I guess. And you couldn't even really call them ruins, though, because, like, you know, they aren't. Like, they're intact. I guess we could use the flight momenter. All in all, the only thing I don't like about Dark Knight over Gunbreaker is that Gunbreaker, its self-heal and its combo is the middle of the combo, so you get to it sooner. And also has a bit of an advantage. It actually applies an HP shield and gives you temporary HP. So it's more useful because you don't need to actually have lost HP to get the benefit of your heal. Although you almost always will lose HP. Yeah, it's just one of those things. That and the invulnerability. The invulnerability in here, like, obviously I will use it when I have no other choice on Dark Knight. But, like, you know, obviously you can't recover from living dead on your own, so just like the 180 boss way back in Palace of the Dead, you know, the only way it's gonna help us is if it's a clutch win on the boss, and, you know, I don't screw the poop. Which, honestly, if I have to use it on any of the bosses and have it on high, except for, like, the 490 boss, then that would be, extra stupid and bad on my part, because they're not necessarily easier per se than the Palace of the Dead ones. They have a lot less gimmicks. Like there's no bomb boss where, like, if you don't kill the bomb then you instantly wipe, stuff like that. None of them resort to casting an enraged meteor as far as I am aware. And really only one of them is truly scary when you're alone, and that's the floor 70 boss, because it has a mechanic where it shrinks you and then tries to eat you, and if you are shrunk and not within a certain energy field that gets put out during the fight, when it tries to eat you, then you die or take equal damage or something like that. So it can be rather rough. Yeah, such is life. Hopefully my mic's coming through. I didn't plug it in until right before I started recording again, and I just get a little bit paranoid about it being on because there was a few videos back where, one of these recent videos or something, where I lost all the audio. And I don't know why, because there was no issue with any of the other videos. I have this weird fear that, like, if I exit out of 14 and I go and check stuff before I, like, go back into 14 and start recording, that, like, I won't have sound. I don't know. So you also might have noticed that like part of the stonework in there was like being mapped with like green energy or something. Like it was, you know, like this place is, you know, held together with raw energy rather than like, you know, mortar. Despite the fact that it's made out of bricks. It's got like these hieroglyphs on the wall. You know, like an archaeologist would have a field day with this place, right? So. When it first came out, I came in here on Dragoon because I like to... Dragoon is actually really sturdy compared to all the other DPS because they take its slightly higher physical defense into account. It has Bloodbath and a lot of obstacles, so you can get some nice self-spike healing as long as you have abilities. And it kills quickly. And it even killed quickly when this was, you know, still current. We didn't have these inflated potencies. And I went from 1 to 30 in a single, like, sitting. And then the next day I went from 31 to somewhere like, I think it was like floor 54 where I died. And basically I died because there's going to be some robots within the next like floor set that they don't put an AoE circle on the ground. They just target a party member that's within line of sight and then they fire their laser and it hits you automatically. And if you get unlucky enough and your Aether Pool is low enough and you zone up into a floor like that that has those things, and there's a, you know, a big room of you know, sexy you know, robots, and they all do that to you, then you will just instantly die. And that is what happened to me. I zoned into the floor, I took one step into the center of the next room or whatever, and I got hit by like 8 big laser booms and instantly died. And I was like, well, I guess that's what I get for trying to go in here with no Aether Pool on a DPS. It was very much a feels bad man sort of situation. But we shouldn't have that issue on tank. And my Aether Pool's not nearly as low as it was then, because like I think my Aether Pool, I was actually pretty lucky. My Aether Pool was like in the 40s or something. And that's high enough to contend with stuff at this range, as long as you're careful. Like really, the first 50 floors of Heaven on High are very, very easy. Of course, probably jinx myself saying that, but I do mean it. I don't think the first 50 floors are actually a challenge at all. But this is my favorite part of the tower. I like the 41 to 80 range. I love the stonework. I love the like energy like field that's like remapping and I assume repairing the tower. So I don't honestly know what's exactly up with it. They don't ever tell you, like even reaching floor 100, they don't ever tell you, you know, why the tower is this way or anything like that. So you just sort of get some humma answer, like, you know, that goes with the whole like that Far Eastern organization that is related to the Allegan Princess and Desh that are Final Fantasy III references or whatever, that the same ones that gave Garahatia family the Allegan Eye, or you know, like, or whatever, through whatever process they did that through, which I'm still going with. I'm pretty sure the princess just banged a cat boy. Like I don't think it's that difficult to you know, intuit like, oh hey, you know, she got herself some Makode dick. Like, how hard is that to think? Like, you know, like, pretty much every girl who plays this game, well, not every girl, but a lot of girls who play this game love the cat boys. Like, they go goo for gaga over them, and a lot of the guys do too. And I just, you know, like, within World, I mean, there's, you know, like, there was that one couple we saw that was, it was the same-sex couple or whatever, but, you know, it was a Makote man and a Highlander man, and it's like, if there's gonna be, like, gay cat boy, you know, human couple or whatever, then, of course, there can be, like, hetero one, and they established with O-Raz, with the Ruby Princess quest line, although I don't think I've shown that on Clyde, that other than, you know, doing Shisui of Violet Tide, that her line has less scales because, like, one of the princesses of yore fell in love with a human and had, you know, half O-Ra, half human baby or whatever, and you know, it just looked like an O-Ra, but it had less scales. Uh-oh, we can't silence that. Let's see. Well, we can put our Purity Pomanders to use, so we'll just let it pox us, and then once we're done killing it, we will, you know, get rid of the pox with Purity Pomander. My first instinct for when I can't silence a Mimic is always to try and, like, prevent it from casting Malice by using, like, a Witching Pomander. And that's from before they allowed every tank to have silence. Because originally, the only tank that originally had any form of silence was Paladin. And it was actually linked on Spirits Within, so it was tied to a damaging ability. So, like, if you wanted to silence anything, you had to hold that specifically to silence. But that was a whole thing. Like, only certain classes had silence. Like, just like only certain classes had access to sleep. Like, White Mage had repose. It wasn't a cross healer skill as far as I remember. And Black Mage had sleep as well, which I think they still do. Question mark? I don't remember if they took it away from Black Mage or not. But they had sleep, and the difference between repose and sleep was that sleep was AoE. And before they put in roadblocks in dungeons, you could take 2 Black Mages to a dungeon, and they do high enough damage back then, even when they weren't one of the best DPS in the game, that they more than made up for being slightly slower on bosses than, like, any other setup. Since there were no roadblocks, you could just sleep every single monster on the way, because the duration of sleep is 30 seconds. And then, like, you re-sleep them right before you enter the boss fight, and then like, if they're near you or whatever, and then that causes, I have made mistakes. Mistakes have been made. I think I might go ahead and use a Petrification Commander. I am yakking instead of fighting. Guess I could show you how concealment goes, because I may have shown it earlier, but I don't really remember. That Eureka, like, Eureka took, like, what, like 15 videos or something like that? Like, it's ridiculous, if not more. Like, and that was just me trying to show off, like, one intro video for each zone, one video to show kind of, like, what I'm doing in the zone or whatever. And then, like, so it was like minimum 2 to 3 videos per zone. But I think I still wound up with like what, I want to put like 5 videos for Animos or something like that, and then like 4 for Pagos or something. I'll go look at it, like the specifics at some point, but like, yeah, it's definitely annoying that this is a mimic. At least we can't miss roll action skill because it's not technically a hit. So it doesn't check against accuracy as far as I'm aware. Yeah, I spent way more videos on Eureka than I really wanted to. I know that sounds weird since I'm the one who chose to show them off. But I couldn't think of any other better way to show them, and I wanted to... It's kind of funny because it was just a footnote, like right towards the end, but I wanted to point out that yet another Ascian has been killed, right? Like, we're seeing a lot of Ascian deaths, right? Like, you know, we met, oh, look, I'm adorable. Also, you can't fall out, as far as I know, so don't worry about falling down. But, like, this should give you a rough guesstimate about how big the tower is actually supposed to be from the outside. Because that looks like one of the blocks or whatever, and, you know, it's just... Unless it gets a lot bigger, like, what the section of it that's out of sight, you know, I don't think that, you know, it's quite as big on the outside as it's supposed to be. But you can say that pretty much about every zone and every, you know, every place in this game. It's like everything is sort of scaled down like an old-timey, like 16-bit or 8-bit RPG. You know, like where like when you're walking on the world map, you know, the thing that represents your character is, or your party is, you know, is like as big as the town. You know, it usually just looks like the main character or whatever, or the lead party member. It's not quite, you know, that atrocious or whatever, but people, it's like, it's a really commonly accepted fan theory that the zones we have are like spatially dilated or whatever, or not dilated, but because that would be stretched or expanded, but compressed. Yeah, spatially compressed, so that we can, you know, traverse them more easily for player convenience sake, rather than, you know, just their actual size. I, for one, think that everything, like, it doesn't matter if it's compressed or not, because, like, sometimes people will say that, you know, the zone compression, like, you have to account for it, like, stuff, like, traversing these zones is supposed to take days and days and whatnot and stuff. We're just, like, ungodly fast because we're, like, a strong warrior that doesn't rest or stop ever. And I'm inclined to disagree because, you know, we so often have NPCs that travel with us. And, like, the story might say, like, you know, that we're, you know, it took all day to go across the zone or whatever, but I don't think it ever actually has. Like, it's sort of like the whole dopey time bubble thing where, like, you know, we, like, all of Realm Reborn and Heaven's Word takes place within like a year or something. It's kind of ridiculous, you know? But like the figures they give us for how long ago, like, in Stormblood, you know, how long ago the, you know, Alamigo and Doma went under, Imperial occupation, right? Like it lines up as if, you know, no more than a year has passed, or like as if no time had passed at all between the time we got out of the carriage in Gridania and the time we, you know, like lost to Xenos at frickin' Rounder's Reach. So like, yeah, there's this wonky time bubble that I know I've gone on about before, but you know, it's just what the tower makes me think of. The fact that it's, you know, a lot bigger, not just on the inside, but, you know, you walk over to that that big hole in the edge there, and it's like you can see that the square is huge, you know, like this is. So it's kind of easy to say that the tower we see on the outside is compressed to aid, you know, like visual limits, or that, like, you know, they made the zone before they made the actual, like, deep dungeon content for it. Like the deep dungeon content was planned, but they didn't, you know, like they didn't match the inside size to the outside size because it would be unfeasible or something, you know. I think you understand what I'm saying, right? Like, even if you don't, it doesn't really matter. We're just sort of talking to talk to, you know, break up the monotony of the fact that this is just a bunch of battle gameplay, which I have to admit is probably not very entertaining to watch after you've seen it, like, you know, dozens of times, and, you know, the story that's going along with it currently is not very awesome. But hey, look, Mountain Dew water. You know, we've seen Mountain Dew water before in Labyrinth of the Ancients, and this is also supposedly like a tower that's built based on Allegan technology or whatever, so maybe green Mountain Dew, maybe Mountain Dew was a power source in ancient Alec. Yeah, in regards to me showing stuff that, you know, might not be fun, it's like, well, you know, this is the game, you know. I can't, like, change the game that I'm Let's Playing, like, in the middle of the Let's Play, right? Like, I mean, I could just do a side Let's Play, but, you know, it would just be different gameplay. Like, I don't know, it's... But I guess while I'm on the subject, I actually have been thinking, like, you know, it's not like this Let's Play is just gonna end anytime soon. Like, I don't think that I will get through the end of Shadowbringers probably until close to the end of October, end or middle of October, and let's see if this will break that. Hey, it did. But I've been thinking about the next game I'm gonna Let's Play, because when I started this Let's Play, I was thinking, you know, that I kind of wanted to do a Let's Play or a video involving Bloodborne. But then I thought, like, I had all these ambitious stuff I wanted to do that I don't really have the skill for, like editing, you know, like PS4 footage, and one of my friends gave me a long time ago, back in February, he gave me a oh, what do you call it? An Elgato. I haven't learned how to use it at all. He just gave it to me because he wasn't using it. Feel a little bit bad about that, but I mean, I told him, you know, I probably won't learn how to use it within any reasonable amount of time, and he just didn't care. He's like, dude, take it, man, take it, because, like, he's a super productive guy. Like, he gets shit done. Like, he is about progression. Like, he wants to get stuff done, and I can't blame him, because, like, you know, he's living in the city, and he's making good money and to live in the city, and I'm sure he wishes he was making more, but he's making more than me by quite a bit. At least I think he is. Not that it really matters if he is or not. It's just, you know, I'm just saying, like, he thinks that I like, the impression he got was that, like, I'm, like, super serious about launching, like, a YouTube channel, and, like, I got to admit, you know, like, after being on his podcast back in February, you know, like, I definitely warmed up to the idea, even though I have, like, hardly any audience. But at the same time, I don't want to like force it. Like I don't want to like just do it to make it an occupation or something, because you know, like I play games for fun, and once it becomes an occupation, you know, like yes, you're still playing games as like your occupation, but you know, like you're editing them, and you have to learn other skills that go along with it, like you know, are you gonna follow what's popular, or are you gonna play what you want and develop like a niche audience, right? Like, and then, you know, how are you gonna fund it? Are you gonna rely on ad revenue, or are you gonna start a Patreon? You know, like most of the time, if you wanna do like any actual like super funny videos, you're basically gonna have to rely on like a you know, a third-party funder like Patreon or PayPal or Subscribestar, and you know, like to actually get patrons and stuff, you know, you go through a time where like your work is just not gonna be seen, even if you're working very hard. Like there are so many YouTube channels out there where they do editing, like at all, first of all, and then, you know, they do good editing, and they just don't get views because, you know, the algorithm is not in your favor, or they themselves as a person like won't show their face, or they do show their face and they're just not, you know, they don't have like a likable face. Like they're not necessarily ugly or anything, but like, you know, there's just some YouTubers, like you see them and they're showing their face, and a lot of their fans like their face, but you know, like for the most part, it doesn't help, right? And I don't think I'm ugly. Like I would definitely show my face if I had like a camera hooked up into this recording setup, and like and I could. But I don't think it would really make my content that much more interesting. I mean, it could, obviously, but you know, I just don't. Do I have any echo drops? I do. But they're tied to the same cooldown as the potions, so I guess I better be careful. Now I'm out of... I can't use potions for a while. And that's my sustaining potion. Yeah, he's starting to kick my ass with that wind there. But yeah, like... I guess, you know, it's maybe the fear that if I do try to, like, go big, you know, I just won't get big and then I'll feel like a failure. Whereas if I just stay safe and keep it as a hobby, then I'll feel a lot less pressure. And then if I get... Well, and, you know, like, another thing is, like, what would I consider big, you know? Like, I'm very, very... very small potatoes, like, and that's obvious, right? Like, you know, this is like the equivalent of a mom and pop shop, except it's not really a shop, and you know, it's just like a local YouTube channel, basically. A little country boy, like, press this record on the camera. But you know, like, I don't know, I feel like I've talked about that probably too much at this point, that topic. Getting big or not. But I guess, like, just the fact remains that it's like, it'll remain very unlikely, regardless of how much work I start putting into my videos. And I could put more work into them right now. I just have to learn how to use Share Factory and OBS, which I imagine isn't really super duper hard. I mean, I downloaded Share Factory, and I actually, when I had that first hiccup, I considered, you know, way back with like Hoary Boulder and all that, like at the hiccup where I made Second Clyde and like, you know, ran through the motions or whatever, to re-record like 55 lost minutes because my record, like, it just didn't record. Or no, I hit screenshot instead of video. So what wound up happening was my PS4 took a screenshot and I lost 55 minutes of my life. It's just one of the difficulties recording straight off the PS4, I suppose. If I was really serious, you know, I would go ahead and invest in getting a better, you know, a good desktop and like just, you know, I'd get a PC versions of 14 and I would record it off of, you know, the PC, and I would just directly, you know, funnel it through OBS, and that'd be that. Like, it'd be a lot simpler, and I could do a lot more. At least a lot more easily. But for now, it's just a hobby, and you know, it'll be here. Like, the point of it is just to record the gameplay and my thoughts, and mainly the storyline. Once again, I have been enjoying being able to go and reference my own videos to find, you know, cutscenes and you know, specific moments, because now I associate them with like titles and of the videos that I made. Like, you know, like Clyde has his whole like own story going on, sorta, like, or like his own history, I guess. Like, I've gone back and I've watched that Tsukuyomi run when he did Tsukuyomi story mode, and got to do that Living Dead clutch win. Like, I've watched that the like minute or two leading up to that clutch, like at least 10 times. Right? Like, there's gonna be good moments in my hobby here, like that, for anyone who wants to see them to see, and you know, it's not like the highest form of entertainment. It's certainly not the best form. You know, it's no TV show. There's no real parasocial relationships getting formed or anything like that. At least until I can start recording my face, but that's sort of neither here nor there, I guess. That also sounds kind of scummy, doesn't it? Like, I want to show my face so that you can form a parasocial relationship with me. No, but it is something that just happens, you know, like with YouTubers. Like, that's why a lot of YouTubers that, you know, all their videos are them, you know, talking about and like critiquing a movie or critiquing a video game or giving their opinion on a social situation. Like, a lot of YouTube channels do very, very well with just that format. It's a person sets up a camera in front of their face and, you know, unloads their opinion on the internet, and yeah, as long as they're decent looking and whatnot, then the algorithm favors them enough, they'll get the views, and you can rack up quite a lot of viewers that way. But anywho, enough about the YouTube rat race. I swear I won't talk about it next video. Here we got Gozu, and I want to just take a minute to appreciate this boss room, because this is going to be the boss room we see for this boss and the next 3 bosses after it. And like, yes, it is just a giant circle, but I just really like the whole like what are those statues supposed to be? It's like hooded figures holding up crystals. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or they're 11 or 12. Whatever. But maybe I miscounted. Maybe there's only 10. Whatever. There's a lot of them. They're there. This guy is pretty cool. He's just like the boss in Drunken City of Skala. So he's got like the untelegraphed tank buster sleeve. He's got, tail sleeve. He's got laser beam mouth. Which will give you a bomb stack when you hit by it. He's got this gaze. He also hits pretty hard. He does that, and then he makes those balls. Those balls, they pulse. And the game shows you their pulse, so it's pretty nice of the game to show you their pulse. But, you want to be careful. It's not... It's very much a sort of like... The battle is constant movement, I guess, and paying attention to where those balls spawn, because those balls will spawn randomly. You can have them spawn anywhere in the room, and any sort of cluster. Like sometimes there'll be like 4 right next to one another, and sometimes that's really good because, like, it's. But other times that can be pretty bad because. And pretty much every boss from here on out will have some sort of randomly appearing thing of AoE, like circles or objects or whatever. This one, is the most simple of them all. The only real notable one I can think of that is important is ooh, that was bad on my part. That's not good for me. Should have moved farther away. Woof. Let's get really far away this time. Let's go like all the way over here. Stay over here until he does the thing. Okay, sweet. But not sweet, because it'll break my thing. Well, that's okay. It's more important that I don't die. Right? Because if I die, or if I disconnect, that all 50 floors or whatever, not only is this floor set kaput, but this file will be kaput. Really bringing the damage up. Ooh, let's go in for 66666. It was one too many 6s, but still, it had the mark of the beast in there, baby. Evil damage.
I don't think I've ever been stressed for a time on a boss in here, regardless of the boss. Although I have done like a 30-second clip of using Odin on the 490 boss. One time I tried to duo this place with one of my friends. And we were doing so well until the 91 to 104 set. We didn't do any research before we went in, and I didn't tell them anything because I was like, they know what they're doing, right? They've been like pretty deep in here before, right? Or whatever, and they didn't. So it was kind of a sad time because I'd never soloed up there, and I wasn't really in the position to be soloing that 4 set. I hadn't, because we were duo, I hadn't really saved the thing, and also we had some issues in the 81 to 94 set where they died a lot, and you know, it was a bad time because once again I hadn't really gone with the aspect of soloing, and so, you know, like, oh look, we got the first achievement for getting up to floor 50 or whatever. It's like, I think Heaven on High achievements go in dungeons, maybe? Yeah. So we've got the only one we can get now is the 5th one, and that's the one that will give us the title, Heaven the Gatecrasher. And you know, Heaven is a Lonely Place is the one that gives Lone Hero, but Heaven is a Lonely Place is number 2. Here we got more of those statues that hold up the crystal, and you can sort of see the face. It's interesting. Got like an eye on their torso or whatever. I wish I could get higher up. Then also look, you know, there's like a railing, and like you can see that, you know, there's gaps in this upper section of the tower, and an outer portion that looks nothing like the lower portions of the tower. So that's kind of interesting, right? And we're getting gold haloed sacks, but they're not as good as gold haloed sacks from or gold trim sacks from Palace of the Dead, because they go up to platinum haloed sacks in Heaven on High. So it's gold from like 31 until 70, and then 71 and above is the platinum sacks, and the platinum sacks are the ones that have the mount in them. There's a unique hairstyle in the silver ones, which are like floors 11 to 30 or whatever, so that'd be cool, right? Exchanging artifacts. Can I get more Imperium potions? I can get 20 more. I do want more. I'm gonna need those things. I'm gonna need a lot of those things. I guess I'll have you appraise some stuff. Oh look, it's a firework. Oh, okay, 10,000 gil. That's never a bad day. This gold, within this gold sack was another sack full of gil, or full of money, whatever. Anywho, thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a nice day. We'll continue on with 51 to 60 next session, and that's where the floor sets start to get a little more dangerous. It's not like the most dangerous or anything, but yeah, you'll see. Anywho, peace out.